Hello everybody, this is Dr. Novak again. I hope everything's going well for you. What you're looking at here is a fish store considered to be the best fish store in Texas, and there's more than one of them. They're apparently owned by the same owner, so there's like three of them. But look at the picture. What do you see going on in these fish tanks? If you caught on that apparently they're using Plenums in these tanks, you'd be correct. And you can see the bubblers there in the fish tank from this photograph. The thing I wanted to bring up is this is considered to be, or these stores are considered to be high-end fish stores. They're quite nice. Their management and husbandry seems to be top-notch. Apparently, I will have a link below, couple videos on these particular fish stores that you're looking at of people who have went in and were extremely impressed. I have never been to a fish store quite this nice. I've been to nice ones, believe me, that I thought were, very nice, but not quite to the caliber of what you're looking at here. But it does bring up the question of like my videos about Brazil, where public aquariums and things like that are using Plenums, and fish stores are using Plenum, and of course there's always a microbiologist on hand at the public aquarium or at the fish stores. There's always someone who's a microbiologist who is helping with the particular thing. And look at this. You look at these pictures and you see what's going on here. Isn't this a little strange? I noticed that they switched out the clear tubing for like black tubing, which you can buy. If you don't want to have the clear tubing, you can actually exchange it for black tubing, buy it right off the internet. In fact, PVC tubing. And that's apparently what they have done. Bought the tubing right off the internet. And it looks to me like this photograph you see here, the air stone looks like it's up real high. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it looks like. So it doesn't make too much of a draft as if the air stone was all the way down in the tubing itself. But on the right-hand side, doesn't it look like the air stone is up higher? I could be mistaking, but it looks like it. But anyhow, if you look at the photographs and stuff of these aquariums, yeah, they're excellent. They're top-notch, and they're all being run with Plenum. So it's just, I guess, something that I thought I would bring up, because why? The big question would be, why do they use Plenums? And if they do use Plenums, and everybody thinks they're so bad, why doesn't a hobbyist go into these aquarium stores and tell them, hey, you're doing everything wrong? Well, we don't do things that way. We just take our substrate and throw it at the bottom of the tank. So why are you using Plenums and you're not using sponge filters? Where are the hobbyists at? Where are they when they're, when to voice their opinion to a fish store like this? As you can see, they probably also have a way of emptying their aquariums, because this is this could be an inlet tube, but it could be an outlet tube and an inlet tube. Usually you're not going to have an outlet tube this low. Usually an outlet tube, if you were going to a filter, wouldn't be that low. So this is probably something to exchange water in the aquarium, to put new water in. And if you look at the facility, you'll see that's what it probably is. So they can exchange water and facilitate in the ease of exchanging water. But it does bring up a question, doesn't it, to you, that why is such a fish store using a primitive method of filtering instead of putting a bunch of sponge filters in their aquarium? I mean, Really? And why hasn't a hobbyist told them that you're doing it all wrong? That's not the way we do it. It does make you wonder, doesn't it? But another thing I want to bring up in this video that I found to be a big concern, and I'd like to have your feedback on it if I could. Now, I just had a fish pass away maybe a week and a half ago, and it had dropsy. Now, this is the second fish that I've had within 2 years of my goldfish aquarium that's gotten dropsy. Now, I never got dropsy, really. It's not something that I've ever gotten in my fish. I'm wondering what the heck's going on with these goldfish. So far, I've had 2 of them with dropsy. Now, I lost one with the highend feeder because it got caught in the feeder. One goldfish, I lost that fish, and it only lived about, maybe 2 months, and it could have had internal damages. Okay, I understand. That was my fault. I went away on vacation, came back. It was stuck in this feeder chamber. It could have been stuck there for the whole time I was gone, which was over a week. I don't know, but it does bring my curiosity up. And in fact, I went away and I left on Sunday and I came back on Tuesday. So I fed the fish on Sunday, the goldfish, everything's doing fine. Nothing wrong. Didn't feed them on Monday, came back on Tuesday so I can feed them. So there's only one day they didn't go without food. That's not going to hurt them. And came home and a fish was dead. One of my ranchus. It's like, why? Why was it dead? There was nothing wrong with it. Once again, absolutely nothing wrong with it. No fins, no red, nothing. The gills look good. It just died. It was sucked up against the intake of the canister filter. And I thought that was kind of peculiar because why are these fish perishing? And in my tank, I have the orange and calico rhyuncun. I sold them to a lady and she gave them back to me for free. So she didn't want them because they're doing too much traveling and it was too much of a hassle. So she asked me if I wanted my goldfish that I sold her back. And I said, yeah, okay. And so the 2 rhyuncuns came back. And she also had 2 Watkins that she gave me so she could close down the tank because they're just traveling too much. They're going on too many cruises and it's kind of a hassle with the fish tank. Yeah, I understand, and she didn't charge me nothing, so I made out on that deal. But the point I'm trying to make here is not trying to go off on a tangent is why did the fish die? Why did I lose 2 fish through dropsy? And a lot of people contact me and said, I lost a goldfish, or what happened? I'm using a Plenum and I'm using BCB basket and I still lost a goldfish. Well, let me tell you something. I lost 2 goldfish too. But I had ranchus and line heads for 15 to 17 years. And no problem, for a fish to live that long. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what is the difference? What in the equation is different? The filtration? No, filtration's the same. In fact, those fish were more neglected than I could say my goldfish aquarium has been. And yet my goldfish aquarium has everything that the pond had, BCB baskets or anything, and the anoxic filter. What's different in the equation? Well, I'll tell you what's different. Where are the goldfish coming from? A lot of these sellers now I'm not blaming the sellers. They're bringing in these goldfish. They're getting them from Thailand. Or maybe they're getting from China. Now, I knew a person who used to get goldfish in, but he used to get them in from Japan. And he was an aquarium store in Chicago, and he was called Grand Aquarium, and they don't exist anymore. But he used to get goldfish in and koi from Japan, not from China and not from Thailand. And those seem to be better goldfish. And they even grew, because a friend of mine bought some from them, and they grew very big, about the size of grapefruit, big grapefruits and stuff like that, within a year out in the pond. Big, fat, look like grapefruit. But these fish, they don't seem to grow, and they seem to be very weak, getting dropsy. Well, the secret is that these are coming from Thailand, or they come from China, mainland China, and they're not as hardy right off the bat. Okay? And they're trying to get the fish as big as they can. So you may see that this is a 6-month-old or 7-month-old goldfish. It's already 5 inches in length, and they want so much for the goldfish, but they're all coming from Thailand. And these fish are just being forced to get as big as they can to get the highest price of market. Not only that, but could be hormones involved in their growth. And once the hormones stop, damage can happen, even if you're giving hormones. But we know that in humans. Definitely we know that in humans, because once humans take hormones, to build up muscle and mass, and if they stop, they will lose that mass and that muscle, and it can wind up damaging hormones, humans, like their heart and things like this, that because you gave them hormones to build up muscle mass. And this is very prevalent. So the same thing happens with fish. If they're giving them hormones to get them as big and as fat as they can before they bring them to market, that damages the goldfish. It makes them weak. And it's kind of funny that I've had my tank just about 2 years, and I have lost a few goldfish through just dying or through dropsy, which is very rare that you're going to get a fish with dropsy. And you can kind of understand why the young lady that had the channel and all her goldfish kept getting sick and dying on her constantly. And I won't mention any names of where she went, but she went to a place that imported goldfish, and she bought a whole bunch of goldfish, probably spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on goldfish just to have them all die on her. And you can kind of understand why she became distraught, because, hey, what's going on? I'm doing everything right, and they're dying on me. And if the fish are already weakened to begin with, you don't have a snowball's chance in hell of actually coming up and sustaining any longevity of any of the goldfish that you're buying. And that's a little strange to me, where I'm getting comments from people that, hey, I'm using a plenum, or I'm using a BCB baskets, and my goldfish still don't seem to be making it, or I'm getting these weird die-offs. Goldfish seems to be fine one day, and the next day it's a floater. And same thing's happening to me. So I thought I'd bring this up. If you have any comments on it, let me know, because we need to get together and find out if this is just happening, if this is happening to everybody. You're buying these goldfish from these mail order places who are getting them from Thailand, and they don't seem to be that hardy. I mean, there's not much we can do about it. Let's face facts. To buy decent goldfish, it's kind of hard to find an American breeder that breeds them. Like, for example, I talked to a breeder here in Florida, and they said, no, we don't breed goldfish because it's too hot here in Florida, really. They need cooler temperatures. They do better in cooler temperatures. And we just don't breed goldfish because of the heat. And then I went to a couple of big fish farms that we have here in Florida, and they all said the same thing. We really don't breed goldfish. We breed tropical fish. They can take the heat. And goldfish we stay away from because of the extreme heat that we have here in Florida. So I don't know. I thought I would bring that up to all of you, that if you have a comment, because I'm even noticing that, by the way, with some of the fish I'm buying at Petco, like my red eye tetras, they don't seem to be growing that big, and you wonder why aren't they growing that big? They should be, but they're not. So what are they doing to these fish where they don't seem to be living very long and they don't seem to be growing? And a long time ago, I'm talking a long time ago, when they used to sell fish food, they used to put hormones in them. So anyhow, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel. Until next time, happy fish keeping. And thank you for watching.